Good evening, everybody. Uh, Today, I shall be taking a few cognitive ability questions. Since this is the first session for this new students who would be taking UCEED, CEED, NID, NIFT, NATA in 2025, these kind of questions will be especially useful for you guys to actually dwell into logical thinking as well as cognitive questions, all right? Or certain even, how should I put it, reasoning based questions also. So here's the first question, what is asked is you're given an image one. What you have to find is there's a positive negative image which is given in image one. There's a black, which is the cut, there's a white part, which is the cutout, and there's a black part, which is the cardboard, which is there, or a black paper, which is there. What you have to find is which of the figure will fit exactly inside this image, inside this jigsaw puzzle. So in this case, it is shape or shapes is given, which means one or more option is correct here. Just one second. So if you first thing is, of course, we start in these kind of questions, we start with comparing the option figure together. When you compare the option figure together very carefully, just look at this part in option A. Look at this part in option B, and the same in C and D. If you observe, that is very different, because in option A, what is given is there's a step which is happening, and then from that step, there's a M angle which is formed. Now, in the question figure, if you see, after the step, there's a drop down, and then there is a step which is getting formed. So A is obviously wrong here. Okay. Now, we'll look at the next part. Now, I will observe the middle part, this part, which is a rectangle. Now, if I look at the rectangle in option B, right when there are these steps which are happening on top here, these steps which are happening on top, the longer edge of the rectangle is parallel to the steps. In option B, the longer edge is perpendicular to the steps here. So B is also wrong. A and B are negated. Between C and D, if you just observe C and D very carefully, yeah, sorry. Between C and D, again, that same thing, we'll look at it like we see in option B. The shorter edge is actually parallel to the steps, versus in D, the longer edge is parallel to the steps. So C is also wrong, and D is the only option which will be correct here. Okay. So the correct option is option D. We'll move to the next one now. Here, there's a symmetrical solid. Now, it's given a regular solid, but if you observe very closely, it's a symmetrical solid. What I mean is a symmetrical solid is that there is an axis. I mean, it's a vertical axis which I'm drawing. I'm just drawing it parallel to the surface. It's easier to read. And this solid is symmetrical along all the axes, along all the sides, on both the sides, which means one second, let me use a different color, which means that what I see in one small part, 1/4 part, which is just this much part, will be observed on all the four sides. What I drawn in blue will be happening on all the four sides, on top as well as on the bottom, on all the four corners, on top as well as on the bottom. Henceforth, it becomes easier for us to count the total number of surfaces, because in this case, you don't have to go around counting each and every surface and visualizing each and every surface at the back. You just will follow a very modular method of counting. So what I mean by modular method of counting is, now if you just observe this corner here, 1, 2, and 3, this corner has 3 surfaces. Now, these 3 surfaces will be happening on this facade, at the back on this corner, and also on this facade. Likewise, there will be this same corner will be happening on this side, at the back on the other side, and then also here. Like you have on top here, there will be another surface happening at the bottom also. So 3 corners multiply by 8 times the 3 corners, 3 corner or surfaces, 3 corner surfaces, multiply by 8 times, it's getting repeated, which is equal to 24 surfaces total. Further, besides this, there are 2 strips which are running around. One is a strip which goes along this axis, which I'm drawing. Another thing is a strip which is happening perpendicular to the axis. Now, what I will do is I'll first count the strip in red. 1, 2, 3, 4 at the back, 5 vertical, पीछे ऐसे यहाँ पे, यहाँ से पीछे भी ऐसा होगा. 4, 5, 6, and 7, and then 8, and 8. So 8 surfaces of the strip. How 8? 1, 2, 3. Of another strip like I have here will happen here. The vertical strip like I have here will have at the back. This is 4, this is 5, the vertical is 5. फिर ये वाला जैसा strip है वैसे पीछे एक और strip आएगा ऐसे, which is the 6th one. Base is 7, 7 पे यहाँ पे 7th strip is the base, and then this is the 8th strip. So that's where 24 plus 8 strips like that. Besides this, what I've counted here, the 8th strip will also be running along this axis. Now, if you observe very carefully, this strip is already counted in this part, which is at the intersection. Likewise, the back part, which is the 5th surface here in the vertical strip, is also counted. So 8 minus 2 plus 6 surfaces, which are left behind, yields total 38 surfaces. Sorry. Besides this, there is one more direction which is left to be counted. This direction has only 4 more surfaces which are left. Which are those 4 surfaces? Are counted. 1 surface, 2nd surface, a 3rd surface here, and a 4th surface here at angle. Plus 4 surfaces, which yields 42. So the total number of surfaces that one sees in this figure is 42. So likewise, there are X, Y, and Z axis. We counted the strips. This is the Y axis, this is the X axis, and this is the Z axis strips. Likewise, we counted it like that. So we first counted the corners, the 3 corners. These corners are repeating on 8 sides, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 3 corners multiplied by 8, so 24. Further, I first counted the red. Besides this, there are 2 strips like this, and then there's a perpendicular strip which runs here, and then there's also another strip which runs here. So I'll first count the red colored one, which has 8 surfaces, the other one has 6, and the other one, which is this one, has 4 surfaces. So 8 plus 6 plus 4 and plus 24 yields 42. Any doubts? I hope there's no doubt or any confusion. If you still have any doubt, please write it in the comment section. Thank you. Now we'll move to the next one. This is a exercise in direction. Now, in these kind of questions, never ever read the whole question and then go around drawing the diagram. Okay, I know that direction is asked, and then I have to, at the end, what I have to find is, I'll just directly jump to what I have to find first. And then what I have to find is how much is the distance would this lady would have traveled if she goes from her school to the post office. There's a school, there's a post office, there's also a market which she visits. What we are going to do is we are first going to draw the diagram, and then we'll find the distance between Alaknanda school and her post office. Now, just to get a basic sense, I'll just draw the north-south direction first. north, south, west, and east. What is provided here is Alaknanda walks 37 kilometers approximately southwest direction. Southwest is this side. So this I will start from the center, okay? I can start from anywhere, but I'll start from the center because from the position where she is, she's moving towards the southwest direction. So she moves towards the southwest direction. She walks 37 kilometers from her home, which means I'm assuming that the center is her home, to reach the school. This is the place where the school is happening. From this position, she walks around 13 kilometers approximately southeast direction from her home to reach the post office. She walks 13 kilometers from south in approximately southeast direction from her home to reach the post office. So from her home here, she walks 13 kilometers to reach the post office. Now, please note I've kept it along the similar axis. That's the reason because the next part is coming, which says that they are all in this, the school and the post office are in the same line. I'll come to the next part, which implies that. The market is 35 kilometers east from the school. From the school, the market is east. In this case, in these kind of direction sense, please note that the north, south, west, east direction, they never change. They remain constant, but the left, right position changes. So, for example, if a person is facing the north and the person is standing here, for that person, this will be the left and this will be the right. If a person is facing the west, for that person, the left will be here, the right will be here. If a person is facing the east, for that person, the left will be here and the right on this side. Further, a person, if it is standing on the facing towards the south direction, for that person, this will be the left and this will be the right. So like I said, left-right position depends on the person's orientation, but the north, south, west, east direction, they never change. They remain constant. So what is given is the market is 35 kilometers exactly east of the school. From the school, it's in the east direction. So from here, this is where the market happens and it is 35 kilometers. I have placed it here because of the next part. If she walks straight north from the market, Alaknanda reaches her home. From market, if she walks north, she reaches the home. So this relationship is satisfied. If she walks east from the market, she reaches the post office. From the market, if she walks further east, she reaches the post office. So it's a perfect right angle triangle which is getting formed between the home, school, market, and the post office. This is a right angle. What it means is I can use the Pythagoras theorem very easily. So I'll first find x here, and then I will go on to find y. I'm interested in finding the distance between school and post office, so the y part is extremely critical for me. But in order to find y and apply the Pythagoras theorem, I still have to find the x value, that is the distance between the home and the market. So if I were to find the distance between the home and the market in triangle SHM, I'm directly writing the formula. X square is equal to 37 square minus 35 square, which is equal to 37 minus 35, 37 plus 30. Please, just 1 second. Yes. So that in the exam, what will be given is you won't have actually a calculator. So it is better to use a formula like this, which is a square minus b square is equal to a minus b multiplied by a plus b formula. Very straightforward. So this will yield 2 multiplied by 72, which is 144. So x square value is 144. Therefore, x value will be equal to 12. So x value is 12 here. This is in kilometers, so we'll go and consider minus negative value. Okay. So x is 12. Now I am interested in finding y. So in triangle, sorry, this was 13. I forgot to write it. H, P, and M. Using Pythagoras theorem, y square will be equal to 13 square minus x square, 13 square minus 12 square. So I know the value of y will become, y square will be 25. So y will be 5. So the value of y is 5. Now we have not yet found the answer. The answer is between school and post office distance we have to find. We know how to find the distance between market and post office. So distance between school to post office will be equal to 35 plus 5, which is 40 kilometers. So the correct answer is 40. Any doubts, any questions? If you have any doubts, please put it in the chat box with the answer to you. Thank you. Move to the next one. Count the number of cubes in the following geometrically symmetric regular solid. Now in this case, it's a geometrically symmetric regular solid. It makes our task easier, like I discussed in the regular solid. It is symmetrical along all the axes. So in this case, one module which is getting repeated in one corner will be getting repeated along all the along all the 8 corners. 8 corners of the inside cube that I'm talking about. Now, what is happening here in the solid, if you just dissect the diagram into smaller parts, you will notice that there is a cube happening in the middle. So there's a cube which happens in the middle. 1 second. Which this cube is made up of a 3 by 3 grid. Okay. This cube is actually placed here. This is where the cube is actually placed inside. Now, along this cube, there are other cubes which are attaching at the corners, and that corner is getting repeated. So if I just draw the cubes, it is one cube happens here, which is this cube, which is attached here. There will be another cube which is getting attached at this corner, which is this one. There will be a third cube which is getting attached here, which is here. A fourth cube which gets attached here. Which is this cube. Okay, now all these 4 cubes which are getting attached, they are getting attached to all the 8 corners, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then there'll be one corner at the back, 8. So there are 4 cubes on one corner, multiply by 8 such corners, which is equal to 32, plus the inside cube, which is a 3 by 3 by 3 cube, 3 by 3 by 3 cube, which will be equal to 27. So the total number of cube in the resultant solid will be 59 cubes. Okay. All right, we'll go to the next one now. Among the following, select the shades of color red. In this case, the shades of color red are crimson and carmine. Both are shades of color red. Azure and viridian, they're a shade of yellowish, sorry, not yellowish, sorry. They're the shades of greenish blue or greenish kind of tones, or bluish green kind of tones, middle tone between the two. Crimson and carmine are the ones which are the shades of red. Please have a look at the shade stones. I would suggest you to look at all of them, but definitely look at crimson and carmine for sure. Given below are two statements based on which some conclusions are drawn. If the statements are true, which of the conclusions can be said to be true? All mammals are fish, all fish are dolphins. So what is happening is mammals, all fish, all fishes are mammals, and then all fishes are dolphins. This won't be all, sorry. This is just dolphins. Okay, so the set Venn diagram kind of goes something like this. Mammals, all mammals are fishes, and all fishes are dolphins. Now, what I mean by this diagram is, of course, all mammals are fishes, but there will be certain fishes who are happening in this zone which are not mammals. Further, there will be certain fishes in this zone which are not dolphins, because that condition is not given to you. So we have to keep that scope open. We just have to draw in the statement from these two parts. So this kind of Venn diagram will emerge. Now I'll go to all the conclusions. Some of the fishes are mammals. Some of the fishes are mammals, which is true because not all fishes are mammals. So A is correct. Because, like I said earlier, there will be certain fishes which are residing in these zones, which are not mammals. So some of the fishes are mammals. In the whole fish population, some of the fishes are mammals, which is true. None of the dolphins are mammals. None of the dolphins are mammals. In fact, none of the dolphins are mammals. If you observe the concentric circle, the way it is placed, there will be some dolphins who are mammals. It's not that none of the dolphins are mammals, it is some dolphins are mammals. Okay, so B is wrong. Some of the mammals are dolphins. Some of the mammals are dolphins. Now, if you look at this, some of the mammals are dolphins. It is actually all the mammals are dolphins. It's not some. It ideally should be all mammals are dolphins. Because what it says is all mammals are fish and all fish are dolphins, which means all mammals are dolphins. But if I look at the reverse relationship, I can say some of the dolphins are mammals. So C is also wrong. So where it is saying that some of the mammals are dolphins. It's not some, but it's all mammals are dolphins actually. All mammals are dolphins, which is true. All the mammals that are there in the middle circle, they become a part of the larger circle. So all mammals are dolphins, which is true. So the correct answer here is A and D. Okay. Now we'll go to the next one. You're given a letter. Now, there are certain odd letters. It says odd letters. There are certain odd letters in this spelling. What are these odd letters are? That they are not from the same font family as others. What it means is that there are the word is written using different fonts, and majority of the letters belong to one font family, but then there are certain odd letters which belong to a different font family. In case of fonts, what it is critical to look at is these parts. This edges, the way the knots and the curves happen, when they meet, when straight lines and curves meet, the way the thickness varies or does not vary in some cases. The thickness varies or does not varies in some cases. In case the way in which these knots happen, like A has, D has, G has, E has those knots, the way the knots happens, and the way the junctures happen. These junctures happen, the joints happen, basically. These are the larger things that we look at. If you observe the letter M very carefully, it actually happens like this. There's a curve and then there's a line. I'm over exaggerating, of course, here. It's a very subtle curve. There's a line and then there's a very subtle curve and then there's a straight line which goes from there. So this subtle curve is not seen at any other place because at all the places it's a perpendicular. Whatever is the line, the way it happens, it follows the edge, becomes a perpendicular to the line which is happening. So this kind of a part is happening very unique with A, and if you observe all the other letters, they actually, the line thicknesses, the knots, the edges, they are actually the same. M is the only one with a unique case where this kind of a weird situation is happening at not just one but all the junctures. So M is the only one which does not belong to the same formed family. Okay. Or the next one. Which of the following materials are used to make Tetra Pak? In this case, all the materials, paper, aluminum, plastic, and Teflon, are used for making Tetra Pak. In the exam, how these kind of questions will be asked is, you will be given an option, and against each option, there could be a tick box where you can have multiple ticks. Or in some cases, the option will run like this: option A and B. B might say all are correct, and C might say none are correct, likewise. So the option may come like this, or they may be tick box option thing. So in this question specifically, all our options are correct. In these kind of questions, say if you're giving a UCEED exam or a NATA exam also, where there's a possibility that you may be given the tick box option or these kind of options, of course. What happens is if you tick one option to be wrong, you will lose the grades for it. But if you're ticking out, say for example, in this case, I know I'm confident about paper, aluminum, plastic, I'm not confident of Teflon, for example, then I will just tick ABC and I will get grades for the 3 tick which I've given. But if even if I've forgotten one option, that's okay. All right. So in these kind of questions where there are multiple select possible, be confident and try ticking on only those options that you're confident about, and don't tick out those options which you're not confident about. Okay. Take care. We'll go to the next one. Cyan, magenta, yellow, black. CMYK series is given, and it is used using 4 conventional color printing process. What will be the resultant process of this combination, where cyan is 0, magenta is 100, yellow is 100, and black is 0. In this case, the resultant color would actually be the color red. Why? It is actually better if you remember this kind of a wheel. Of course, it's an RGB combination, but RGB and in printing, the RGB and the CMYK series, they are reverse of each other. So for example, the CMYK series will actually be happening along this trident. And whatever happens in the middle of the CMYK series, that is the color that gets yielded by the 2 flanges. So for example, yellow and magenta at 100% capacity will yield a solid red. Yellow and cyan at 100% capacity will yield a green, versus cyan and magenta at 100% capacity will yield a blue. When I go on the inverse possibility, where I'm looking at it from an RGB perspective, which is an additive combination scheme, red and green will yield a yellow, green and blue will yield a cyan, and red and blue will yield a magenta. This is in the printing mode, all right? So I would suggest you to actually remember this color scheme, because whatever happens in the middle, you can actually get based on the percentage which are provided. Here, yeah, magenta and yellow are 100%, which means we're looking at the middle point between yellow and magenta, which is red. The last part, black, is the key, which is the gradation of the tone. Black is 0%, which means there is no black being added. There's no darker color getting added. So it will be a solid color thing. So the correct answer here will be red. It would be burgundy provided black was given some percentage. In that case, it would have been burgundy. But here black is not given. That's why red will be option C, or red will be the correct one. Move to the next one. How many different types of symbol appear in the figure which is provided below for you? So in this case, what are we going to do is we are going to go one by one by one by one, and in series, and then we'll just keep on ticking which are the, or just writing the numbers rather, which are the numbers which are, which are the symbols which are different. No, bad color to write, I'm sorry. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 23. Okay, so this would be 24. So 25, 26. Yeah. So 26 are the total number of 26 are the total number of symbols which are unique in this matrix. In this case, majority of the time, what method that we follow is we either go from top to bottom like this, or we go from left to right, like this. Okay, but go systematically either of the method that you follow. Don't go randomly around searching which is different and how can I find very quickly. This is actually that method of going randomly will actually waste a lot of your time. You won't be able to finish it in time. So yeah, thank you. So now we'll move to the next one. Just 1 second, let me do a quick cross check. Just a minute, just last cross checking. Okay, yeah, we're 26. Yeah, thank you. We'll move to the next one. Here, it's a similar question like we did earlier. What you're given is you're given a random graphic. Here, you have to find the black diamonds. You don't have to find the white diamonds. You have to find the black diamonds in the pattern. Here, we won't consider half diamonds like we see here. Half diamonds won't be counted. Full diamonds only will be counted. Again, I will follow a top-down method, from top to bottom. In some cases, in these kind of questions, if you're comfortable, you can also go from left to right. That's up to you. All right. The black diamond. This is a white diamond. I'm not going to count the white diamond. I'm just going to count the black diamond. So this is a black diamond. Another. Third. 1, 2, 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. 11. And 12. So we see 12 such black diamonds in the total diagram. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there are 12 such diagram in the whole thing. Okay, take it. We'll move to the next one. So this question I will cover in the next session. In the last session, we had covered it till here. I'll end today's session here. Thank you so much.